Getting started using Power Automate approvals using SharePoint. In this example, I have an existing SharePoint list, and this is a time off approval request list. This example can be used for other types of approval requests, such as travel requests, but in this case, we'll use time off requests. So to show how this works, I have this basic list together. As you can see here, it has the employee name, start time, end time, some comments about what it is for, and an approval status. So it comes in with the default choice of pending, and then the idea would be the flow is to switch it to yes or no based on the manager approval. So to show how this works, new item, and in this case I'll pick myself, and then I'll pick the time for PTO here, 17 to 19. Let's type PTO, save, and we see this coming into the bottom here. So next what we want to do is set up the flow for the approval. And one nice thing in Power Automate, this is such a common scenario that there are pre-built templates for this. So if we go to templates and then we look for SharePoint and we look for approval. So when a SharePoint is going to send an email, which one might make the most sense here? New items created in SharePoint. Let's do approval just to make it a little more obvious. Send an approval email when a new item's added. Okay, that sounds about in the ballpark for what we're trying to do here. So let's go with this one. And just go ahead and continue. It's going to set up these connections. Okay, so it drops you into this flow like this, and we have to go ahead and define, what our SharePoint list is. So I know the site is this, and I know the name of the list is time off requests or time off approvals. So that's good to go. Here, it needs to know who to send it to. In this case, I'll just make it myself as the manager for it. And assign to will be this. Oh, actually, I make myself here. This is more for, this is who it goes to if it's been approved. So actually, let's do, in my list here, I had employee name, so let's use that. So we'll use the employee name, email, yes. And we'll say, time off request approved, and then item has been approved. It's a real basic message here. Obviously can be more customized, and additionally we can put me again, since I'm the manager for this particular scenario. We could use the 365 and pull in the manager for the employee, but sometimes that's out of date or not accurate. So, at your own discretion, you can just set it as a static value, or you can, even use, a people picker from the list, or if the manager fields accurate as part of the Active Directory properties, then you can use that as well. Let's just do that for now to keep it simple. And in my list, I do want this approval status to change. So since this has already been kind of predefined for me here, we'll just do update item, and then we'll say we need to get the same list. So we'll say communication site, then time off approvals, and the ID we want is the ID that was used when the item was created, and we'll send the approved value to yes. And over here, we'll send the value to, switch it to no. Let's go ahead and get that list up. Same deal, ID, approved value, no. So basically, if the approver approves it, true, send the email, set it to approved. If they don't approve it, then it sets it to not approved. It probably doesn't hurt to have an email get sent to them as well. So I'll go ahead and do a send email. Not sure why it doesn't come with that already. Maybe it's a good suggestion for Microsoft there to include that. Actually, switch to advanced mode. Then we need to get the employee name, email, time off, request, not approved. And we could take metadata from the approver step and put it in here, like the comments that were made. But for this very simple example, we'll just let them know it wasn't approved. And one thing that's good to have, like when this email goes out, please approve this item. So we want to customize this a little bit. So please approve this time off request for, and then we'll say this employee name, display name, which is from the people picker field in our list here. So it'll come in like that. Then we want an item link, so we want to link to the item. And let's type link to item. That looks good. And for the approval type, there's different options in here. You can have, everyone must respond first to respond, wait for all the responses, wait for run response. So there's a few different things you can do here. We'll just do first to respond, but because it's simple enough in this case, it's just me. And because the assigned to, if we put additional names here, we could say, everybody must approve. If we have like maybe multiple managers and they all have to sign off on it. But let's do me for this case. When items created, that's good. Okay, this is about as simple as it gets. Obviously, you'll see some of the limitations with it based off this simple example, but I had to add at least a couple more things because it's too basic out of the box. But this is enough to make it functionally usable here. So with that in mind, the trigger is when an item's created. So we'll go ahead and create an item in this list, and we'll make it for myself here. And this time we'll do October 1st to October 3rd. Say PTO, save. And with that in mind, we will give this a little time to kick off. Usually when you just publish a flow, sometimes it can take a minute for it to run. It's ready to go. We'll see down here the run history once it's able to kick off here. There can be a little bit of a delay on that, but one thing I'll show you once this finally does kick off is there's 3 places or 3 ways you can approve a request that comes to you via the approval feature in Power Automate. So there's Teams, there's the Power Automate center here where you go to approvals, and then there's email approval. So it's going to send an email with the approval in it, but we could also do it from Teams, and we can do it from here as well. So let's go ahead and see if this is, it's finally running, good. So we'll be hearing some dings in a second. So in Teams here, you can see I just got an approval request. If you've never set up approvals in Teams, one good thing to do is to add the approvals app. So I've already added it. If you haven't, you just have to add it via the apps, so you can search for it and add it. And you can see I can approve or reject it from here. I can also reassign it to somebody else. Here comes the email. This is the one we saw where I added that link to it, and I said please approve this time off request for Richard Lukasic. So that was the some of the text I updated. And then the third place I was talking about is you can come here at makethatpowerautomate.com for commercial clients, and you can click approve, reject, or reassign. So wherever your favorite place to do it is, a lot of people just like the convenience of the email, so I'll go ahead and approve it. Oh, actually, I'll look at it first. I should probably look at it first before approving, right? Not everybody does that. Oh, okay, that looks good. Okay, approve, submit, and once I do that, we should see this status go from pending to approved, yes, and voila. And then since again, there's my email that my time off request has been approved. Some ways to improve the out of the box one, that template, we can add a link to go to the item. That could be useful to maybe see that. I could also add in the comments that the manager put for it as well. So there's some ways to kind of improve the out of the box one, because it's very simple at first. So, but those are just some like basic tweaks you can do to at least get something functional and off the ground, and then optimize it from there. So um, that's basically it. And Teams again, very similar to the other processes where you can improve it from here as well. So a bunch of different ways to do it. You just have to um, remember those, know what they are, and one way or the other you'll get either a Teams notification or the email for it. So that's pretty much all I have today. Thanks for watching.